This is an OG call. I'm keeping it. OG.
Episode of Grape Street TV, we gonna tap into Thunderdome. If you went to Markham Junior High and you grew up in one of these 4 projects in Watts, then you know what I'm talking about, because this was our Thunderdome before we start going to juvenile hall. Straight up. This is the school that tested your heart. So, as people enrolling and being in the 6th grade at Markham Junior High School, you was introduced to your first set of enemies. We have the Jordan Downs, we have the Hacienda Village Bloods, we have the Nickerson Gardens, we have the Imperial Courts, which is the PJ Watts Crips. Then you have the more inner gangs, like the smaller gangs, that's in the inside of Watts, surrounded by the 4 projects. We all had to go to Markham Junior High, and we all had to cross this bridge right here if you was from the Crip side, straight up. This is the school that was gonna test your heart. We all found out who was the Marks and who was the Sharks. And there was a lot of Marks and there was a whole lot of Sharks. We gonna start off with, the security guards that was introduced to us and try to be like mentors to us, because we had like Officer Nibbles. We used to call him Peg Leg. He rode around on a little cart. We had Goldie. We had RoboCop that'll chase you down straight up. And if you went to Markham Junior High, you know what I'm talking about. We also had Miss Pratt, which was a teacher, which was Geronimo Pratt's sister. And, a lot of dudes hung out and ditched class and hung out in her class straight up. And we also had Mr. Miles, which reminded me of White Man Can't Jump, because he was a white dude. He was always trying to preach, that good stuff to us, trying to get us out the gang. Like, we also had Mr. Fred class to go hang out in. He was more in tune to the streets. He was more like Mr. Miles too, trying to stray you away from the streets. He ended up, as we growing up and start getting out in the world, I ended up seeing him pumping gas at a gas station. It's kind of funny how life turns out, huh? With all that being said, let's break into the Thunderdome and the squabbles and the people getting chased and the guns getting shot. As we grew up, we got more dangerous and we became more famous as being from gangs and being involved in Watts politics straight up. And as well as Southsiders, it was a lot of gangs up there as well, but the strongest was the Southside Grapes. And I'm not just saying that because that's the south side of Grape Street, it's just stating facts. So on an early morning tip, we all knocked at our friends' doors so we could walk to school deep. And that's what we're both sides with. The bounty hunters, the PJs, and the Haciendas. They did the same thing, because you had high school kids jumping over the gate trying to fight the junior high kids. That was just part of, the gang culture. As soon as we made it to school, it was like having a staring contest, flexing your muscles and choosing the person that you was gonna fight, beat up, chase. That's just how it was, young growing up and being in the gang culture. A lot of people was also forced into the gang culture by, getting beat up, getting their nutrition took, getting their lunch took, getting ran down on, going in their pockets. It was like a lot of people forced to jump ship and join the gang so they could feel protected, or they liked what they were seeing that was going on. Due to, the older kids, like the high school kids jumping the gates and trying to fight us, we was forced to, carry weapons. We had stuff like knives, locks and socks, pepper spray, and then, it gradually got more dangerous to where we was carrying guns to school to protect ourselves to shoot the older dudes that was jumping the gates, coming up there trying to do stuff to us. But the biggest fights up there against gangs would be the Grape Street Crips versus the Bonnie Watts, like the two strongest projects in Watts, two strongest gangs in Watts. Like on both ends, we had fighters and shooters, but we all live by like the same rules. Far as being from the projects, growing up, fighting each other, fighting other people, and testing our punch on grown men. So around that time, we was like a little more advanced than the other communities that was around us. See, I'm giving y'all true facts. Like, some people gonna get on here and make it seem different, but on both sides, we took L's. Some people got beat up, some people won, and a lot of people got jumped. Because when one person lose, it basically starts off a riot between both gangs. Because we both start fighting hard and we start jumping in. That's just part of us, being from the projects. And as far as the Grape Street Crips, we had smaller altercations like, different type of games, such as like the PJ Watts Crips and the Haciendas every blue moon, sometimes the Fuzztown Mafia Crips, and sometimes the 10-line Gangsta Crips. That was just like the smaller beef from the smaller sets of, the city. So within that time, we started experiencing losing our friends, going to funerals, seeing our big homies get killed, people getting knocked down in front of you. You start putting in work, things start changing. And like I said, it started getting more dangerous. So like after Markham Junior High, like a lot of us start venturing off into juvenile hall, camps, YA, going down, getting charged as an adult for murders. Like, that's when, we set the bar for the new generation when it comes to the laws. Like, that's why they so strict now, because all the damage that we was doing as growing up. Now y'all see, like I say, Markham was the first jump off the porch for all new gangbangers, especially in the 90s when it was like real rough. That's what started everybody off, is junior high. That's when you get introduced to your enemies. You get your first few fades in, and you might get your first body. But a lot of people that went to Markham is no longer here with us. Like, from all 4 projects and the inner gangs, we're surrounded by the projects. A lot of people got life in jail, and a lot of people got killed due to the gang violence. And we was more like friends growing up. And by us being so blind and so young, we was blinded, to the bigger picture. So basically, like, a lot of us was just born into hating people for no reason. And when we got to Markham, we thought that we were supposed to hate each other. But, I got a few friends from the other side that I still keep in touch with. And, life goes on. And due to the peace treaty, violence was kind of put on hold for a while till we was all hanging each other hood. And, we came close. And some people gained baby mamas from other sets, from different hoods that, was considered their enemies. So when things went back to getting rough, everything went all bad because everybody knew who was who and where was everybody at. But the bad thing about it, it was kids left to suffer that, my dad is not going to be allowed to come over here, or my mother is not going to be allowed to go over there. Those are the type of things that we grew up with, facing the gang culture. So this review is officially coming to an end. Make sure y'all hit that like and that subscribe button. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay dangerous, take care of them kids, love your family, and catch you on the next one. I'm out.
This is an OG call. I'm keeping it. OG.
Yo,